All right, take it away, Preston.
Thank you, live. Nice seeing you guys all here today. And thank you for coming to another Good Medicine Way time and being able to be with us as we learn more about how creators is working through our lives. And so let's take it away, have Kelsey Monroe be able to give us a prayer and land acknowledgement.
All right, as usual, I'm running a little bit behind, but it's good to see everybody tonight. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kelsey Lubeth Monroe Jocko, also known as Umpedadaka Monroe. I am calling in from the ancestral homelands of the Caddo, Osage, Comanche, Kiowa, and Wichita nations. I know that Good Medicine Way, or in Oklahoma City, I know that Good Medicine Way actually comes in from Albuquerque, New Mexico, which is the homelands of the 19 Pueblos, as well as the Dene and Apache people. So yeah, it's very exciting. Albuquerque is one of my most favorite places to be. So yeah, I believe the ones that are directly around the Albuquerque area are the Sandia, the Zia, and the San Felipe, wasn't it, or something or other? Yeah, so but there's all of us that come in from all over, that zoom in from all over. So okay, so tonight I will be sharing the 7 directions prayer, which is something a little bit different than what we're used to. It starts with the 4 cardinal directions: the east as in the beginnings, the south as in learning, the west in change, the north in wisdom and endings. And then we move to the 5th dimension, our direction, which is Father Sky, the 6th Mother Earth, and finally your own inner world. All right, here we go. Creator, I am grateful for the rising sun and for waking up this morning. This entire day and all the experiences that come with today are gifts from you. Thank you for today's opportunities to learn or practice new ways. Your love rejoices my efforts and sustains me through the hard lessons. Thank you for the winds from the west that bring change and insight. May wisdom ripen within me so I may carry the learnings with me. Father Sky, Creator is majestic, beyond all of our knowing or telling, but always no further than the tilting of our head skyward. Thank you for all of creation and for being allowed to be a part of it. Mother Earth, you have been patient with us through our greed and thoughtlessness and have still provided food, water, air, and shelter for us. Thank you. Please give me the strength to defend you as any child should defend their mother when others walk not so softly on you. Finally, I look within and honor my spirit. I always think of myself as important, but you tell me I am important to you. I don't always think of myself as important. Help me to be humble, for I am not the center of creation, but a mere part of it. Bless me today as you live in my heart and my mind. Amen. Thank you for allowing me to do that.
Thank you, Kelsey. That was really nice. And let me take a moment. I always forget to introduce myself as MC. My name is Preston Jones. I'm native Navajo. Date she Preston Jones in the she touching the Basichin, Kislachini. She touching in the Slant or touching Basichin, Kislachini that she Ashin Dashinella. And I'm on the homelands of my ancestral lands of here in through New Mexico. So it's really awesome to be able to have that honor and be able to even be able to say that, because there's a lot of Native people that don't get to experience that, or even from history. Let's just say that. Um, Next up, we have a few songs from the Grovers. I so Brian, if you can run back from where you're from, you can take it away.
Again, apologies to Facebook. Your screen will go blank for a bit, but we'll be back. You'll still hear us.
We're Let me dwell in your tent forever.
Thank you, Grovers. It was always a pleasure. Next up, we have Casey Church giving us a Creator's Insights. Take it away, Casey.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. Good to see you all. I'm up here in Granville, Michigan right now. This past weekend, I spoke at a church here. It's called the Bradley Indian Mission. And I put a little blurb out there that I was going to attend and be the speaker. And the pastor said, well, we doubled our congregation. We usually have 12, and now we had 25 for your talk today. So these are small churches that we have around here. So I wanted to share a little bit about what my daughter and I just went through here in Michigan. Every time we go somewhere, we always try to pray and bless the water that's there. And the women are the keepers of the water. So my daughter and I, we did a blessing of the water and a prayer. And all the animal life was all around us at that time. It was just beautiful. It was kind of brisk in the morning, and there was a stream with a little bit of a waterfall that was making, a splashing noise, just beautiful in the background. There was a little bridge going over that stream. And then as the water flowed out into a larger river, the Grand River, then a group of ducks landed right in front of us on the water. Didn't even care if we were there. They landed and they made their squawking and just started floating around. And then as we were saying our prayers, a group of geese flew over us too. And they were headed somewhere else too. I think they were headed a little more inland, probably to another pond or so. A big group of geese flew over, making a lot of noise. Their honks. Really, just nature was just all around us. And as we continued our prayer and put our tobacco in the water, and I told her, I says, man, this is almost perfect, isn't it? I says, all we need now is I was just about ready to say, all we need now is a bird to fly over, or I was going to say eagle. And just as I said, all we need now, a hawk flew right over us and landed in a tree in back of us. It's just, hey, that just made everything just complete. And when we finished our little prayer, the hawk took off and flew south down the riverbank away from us. And it just was a confirmation that all around us, God is making himself known through what he's created and the creatures that he has created. So just wanted to share that little bit with you. It was a blessing to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Casey. It's always good to remind ourselves of how God is preeminent in everything. Next, we're going to be able to have a small prayer, but with sign language with the help of Leah McCoo. Let's hope we all been practicing. Take it away, Leah.
Good evening. Okay, I'm going to give us the last sentence. to try to get a little bit at a time, that we learn a little bit at a time. So I think we already all remember how to say, may it be so. We'll try that. May it be so. And aho. Okay. And set us free from the evil one and his worthless ways. Okay. From the beginning. Okay. Oh, great Spirit, our Father from above, we honor your name as sacred and holy. Bring your good road to us, where the beauty of your ways in the spirit world is reflected in the earth below. Provide for us day by day the elk, the buffalo, and the salmon. The corn, the squash, and the wild rice. All the things we need for each day. Release us from the things we have done wrong. In the same way, we release others for the things done wrong to us. Guide us away from the things that tempt us to stray from your good road, and set us free from the evil one and his worthless ways. Aho, may it be so.
Thank you, Leah. Next up, we have smoke signals and giveaways. So if you have any updates or anything to announce, so we would love to hear that. But first, to start us off will be Leah Grover.
You froze, Leah. Maybe while she's getting unfroze, Jean, would you introduce the men's Bible?
Are you
Yes.
muted?
Men's book discussion group. We will be discussing Randy Woodley's Mission and the Cultural Other. And after talking with a few folks, it sounds like Sunday afternoon would be a good meeting time. We're looking at 3 p.m. Mountain Time, 2 p.m. Pacific. And we're going to start the last Sunday of January, January 29th. So if you haven't ordered the book yet or started reading it, that gives you a little bit more time to order it and to start. We'll start with an introductory session. So we'll discuss the introduction, introduce each other. And if you have any questions, please let Leah know or Uncle Casey, or you can even contact me and let me know. I'll put my information in the chat box. So that's Men's Book Discussion Group discussing Randy Woodley's Mission and the Cultural Other, starting Sunday, January 29th in the afternoon.
And are we back on? Okay, yeah, just let me know if you need assistance. I can send you a book. We have several here. And then Laura has an update about Sewing 101. What's her best mic?
Hello, everyone. Yat et anaso. I wanted to give you an update on our Sewing 101 class. It is going to reach out now to the Albuquerque Public School. I had a conversation with one of the teachers, and we are going to have our first class next Tuesday, the 17th, and instead of having it during a school instruction time, it's going to be in the evening from 6 to 8. And I had a conversation with him again this week, and he's really excited. The parents want to come, and other teachers want to come. And so we'll just see what will happen. He thinks there's probably about 5 students, but I'm also kind of envisioning that this would be an intergenerational event with the parents there, that they can assist one another. So I just wanted to let you know how I feel like this is one of the ways I can contribute back to the community with sharing what I know on sewing, and just really wanting to look at boosting self-confidence, self-awareness, self-identity in a way that's really positive, and create an atmosphere that, shares our teachings of honesty, kindness, sharing, and respect. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So regarding the giveaway, if you'd like to support the work of Good Medicine Way financially, right at the top of the Good Medicine Way Facebook group, there's a little logo that you can click on to donate through PayPal, or you could message me, Leah Grover, if you'd like to donate another way with a check or whatnot. And the smoke signals I have for you are the Wednesday night women's circle. We're going through the lost history of Christianity, about the first millennium when Christianity was really big in Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. And there she is, holding it up again, the lovely assistant Diane. So yes, this is an era of Christianity that I didn't know hardly anything at all about. So this has been super informative, really good book that my daughter Megan recommended to us. So we go through that, all the ladies that want to, Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And how you get to that is also you go to the Good Medicine Way Facebook group page. At the top left, it says Browse. You click on that, and then you click on Events. And there we shall be. Yes, good stuff. Good stuff.
Concert.
And the concert. Tell them about the concert.
I'm not on the screen.
Oh, you're not on the screen. Okay. The Jonathan Miracle Glenn Kaiser concert will be live here in Albuquerque on February 18th, a Saturday night. And then also for February 20th at the Good Medicine Way time, we'll have a bit of that spilling over into that too. So if you're looking for an excuse to get down to Albuquerque, come on down. But I believe we're going to live stream one or both of those. Is that right? Yeah. So February 18th and 20th for those And were there any more announcements?
I'd like to add to that concert, Bill Pagren, sounds like he will be coming down as well.
Ooh, good drummer. Oh, and then they asked what was the name for the book for the men's study. That's Randy Woodley, Mission and the Cultural Other. Okay. All right. I think that might be all for now.
Anyone else? If not, we'll have Casey give us the word of.
Thank you, Preston. Also, you're going to be hearing some music in the background during this reading. We're going to be reading Psalms 19. It says here, for the director of music, a psalm of David. The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of his hand. Day after day, they pour forth speech. Night after night, they display knowledge. There is no speech or knowledge where their voice is not heard. Their voice goes out into all the earth, their words to the end of the world. In the heavens, he has pitched a tent for the sun, which is like a bridegroom coming forth from his pavilion, like a champion rejoicing to run his course. It rises at one end of the heavens and makes circuit to the other. Nothing is hidden from its heat. The law of the Lord is perfect, revealing the soul. The statutes of the Lord are trustworthy, making wise the simple. The precepts of the Lord are right, giving joy to the heart. The commands of the Lord are radiant, giving light to the eyes. The fear of the Lord is pure, enduring forever. The ordinances of the Lord are sure and altogether righteous. They are more precious than gold, than more pure gold. They are sweeter than honey from the comb. But then is your servant warned. To keep them there is great reward. Who can discern his errors? Forgive his hidden faults. Keep your servant also from willful sin. May they not rule over. Then will I be blameless, innocent of great transgression. May the word of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be pleasing to you in your sight, O Lord, my God and my Redeemer. And that was from the International Version. All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you, Casey. I am really excited to start hearing Terry's work and his finished product, and when that's happening, whenever that comes out, of all these songs for the First Nations version. Next up, we're going to have Brian bring us into a nice meditation moment and bring us into a little time of calmness with Thank you, Brian. Can you also introduce the speaker tonight?
Sure. I was gonna try to be funny, but I think I'll just keep it straight.
You want to write?
Part of me was being like, oh, I should think of something clever, and then the other part of my brain was like, don't even try it.
He wants a ride home.
Yeah. So tonight, bringing us some insights and thoughts is a person who, for as long as I have known her, has been someone who loves to delve into the deeper meanings and discover the not so obvious nuggets of truth and inspirations that can be found. She's a really great artist and a fantastic musician, and she has dedicated her life to a life of service, and spent many decades working among outcast communities of various kinds, and doing her best to live out God's mercy and compassion to those around her. Along the way, she also ended up stuck with me, and and we have 3 wonderful children that she did a fantastic job in raising them in a way that really allowed them to really discover all the creative and dynamic ways in which they could serve Creator and move in His ways. And so hopefully we'll get a little glimpse of that tonight as she shares from a book that she's found really inspirational to her. And I'll let her take it from here.
Oh, and Petadaka wants to say a quick prayer for what I have to share tonight. Absolutely.
I was so inspired by the flute playing and really good responses. So I hope that you all integrate that in from here on out, because that was something that was needed. So, Heavenly Father, I come to you tonight just wanting to thank you for allowing each one of us to gather here tonight on Facebook, on YouTube, and on here on Zoom. I pray that you give Leah the words to share, especially with such a great book that she has been inspired by. And I pray that you continue to guide Leah throughout the rest of her time, wherever she may be. I want to thank you for her beautiful spirit, and I want to thank you for all the beautiful things that she has to share. Heavenly Father, I just pray that you allow each one of us to have our hearts open as she discusses what she has learned from this book and just her experiences. And I just want to thank you again, and I pray that you continue to guide her and Ryan and all of Good Medicine Way through whatever may be coming. And I just want to thank you again. I ask all these things in your son Jesus' name. Amen.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, jumping right in, Braiding Sweetgrass, Indigenous Wisdom. Let's see if I have it here. Kind of blurry. But anyway, Braiding Sweetgrass, Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge, and the Teachings of Plants by Robin Wall Kimmerer was published in 2013. Professor Kimmerer is an enrolled member of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation, just like our Casey Church here, and lives in Syracuse, New York, where she is a SUNY Distinguished Teaching Professor of Environmental Biology and the founder and director of the Center for Native Peoples and the Environment. In Braiding Sweetgrass, she gives the history of how she returned to her Potawatomi traditional ways of keeping knowledge or doing science, which look at how everything is interrelated. Kimmerer earned her PhD in botany, where she was instructed in the ways of Western science also, which tends to isolate each subject it studies. She's come to believe that both indigenous and Western science can work well together. Braiding Sweetgrass was recommended, even gifted to me by my daughter Megan, who also recommended our Women's Circle book we're currently studying, The Lost History of Christianity. This book is hands down one of the top 5 books I've ever read. It's painted my imagination with indigenous ways of seeing the created world around me. The richly descriptive way Robin Wall Kimmerer introduces us to different species such as water lilies, giving us the Western scientific description and categorization, then poetically narrates the drama of their function and life mission, their need for the other plants, animals, and even sometimes humans. This thrilled my soul like the skillful harmonizing of instruments and voices in Waji Leim at the end of Smoke Signals. This book deepened my respect for the intelligence of creation. We will dip our toes into highlights from the book, beginning at the beginning, when Potawatomi origin story's Sky Woman falls to earth with a handful of seeds she'd grabbed from Sky World above, then planted them down here. Sweetgrass was one of the first to grow. Breathe in its scent and you start to remember things you didn't know you'd forgotten. Kimmerer encourages us to consider sweetgrass both as a relative, a teacher, and medicine. She says humans and plants must mutually take care of each other. When we feel we're falling like Sky Woman from the known down to the unknown, the gifts of creation are ready to catch us. Everyone was an original immigrant to some place on the planet. What's involved in becoming indigenous to a place, though, is developing balance with the land, living in gratitude with what and how it produces and sustains you, and living with the 7th generation in mind. There is spirituality involved in making a place your home. Plants are some of humanity's oldest teachers, showing us how to make food out of water and light. Then they give to all generously. Strawberries are another gift teacher. Gifts are unearned, not prizes for our efforts. True gifts you can't request, but there they come, and our biggest job is to receive with open arms mindfully. Kimmerer says, gifts exist in a realm of humility and mystery. As with random acts of kindness, we do not know their source. When strawberries give to us, by becoming the juiciest, tasty berries they can be, they actually increase their fitness as a species. If there's a way to continue giving gifts you've received, such as receiving berries, then turning around and gifting the jam you make to others, happiness increases. Robin writes, in Western thinking, private land is understood to be a bundle of rights, whereas in a gift economy, property has a bundle of responsibilities attached. How would you feel if you were in a very lovely farmer's market in which everything was free for everyone? Would you grab as much as you could or just what you needed? Sometimes when a store has good things for dirt cheap, we hoard. Does living where we realize everything is a gift give us self-restraint instead? Some people say not to purchase sweetgrass, that it should always be received as a gift. When Kimmerer went camping with her parents as a child, they would pour a little of the coffee or soup on the ground before drinking it, acknowledging that it was a gift. Ceremonies like this can wake us up to what the land already knows as it provides for us. When Professor Kimmerer is in the presence of asters and goldenrod, purple flowers that like growing next to golden ones, she says, their beauty asks me for reciprocity, to be the complementary color, to make something beautiful in response. In the Potawatomi language, Yahweh means to be, in the sense of things having life and spirit, the offspring of creation. Professor Kimmerer is reminded of Yahweh of the Bible at this point and says her heritage language reminds us in every sentence of our kinship with all of the animate world. When we think of how plants and trees take in our carbon dioxide and give us the wonderful oxygen we need, this symbolizes the continual free gifts we receive, but aren't meant to somehow hoard. This reminds us to keep giving and trust that we will receive back what we need. Do you remember at Good Medicine Week how we read the Haudenosaunee Thanksgiving address at Thanksgiving? You just mentioned that to me, yes. Professor Kimmerer says she always feels wealthy after hearing it, going through each area of creation and extending gratitude, ending each section with, "And now our minds are one." Commenting on our consumerist country, Robin writes, "Gratitude cultivates an ethic of fullness, but the economy needs emptiness." The Thanksgiving address reminds you that you already have everything you need. So, for a moment, we're going to pause and do a little quiz contest. Okay, so this is open to everybody who does not have a Good Medicine Way t-shirt yet. So, get ready. Okay, so whoever can raise their hand the first, and your virtual hand or your real hand, and tell me, okay, what are the native three sisters? Whoever doesn't have a t-shirt yet, what is it?
Beans, corn, and squash.
Beans, corn, and squash. You win a t-shirt. Mrs. Good Medicine Way. You can, what was that? But I'll get you the right size afterwards. Heck, you're on the staff. You should have one of each color.
Oh, I was gonna give this to Ken.
Oh, perfect.
I want it for Ken.
Okay, we'll make sure we give you the right size afterwards. Yes, so the three sisters are corn, beans, and squash. And the corn, they plant them together. Navajos and other tribes also. The corn provides the stalk for the beans to climb up, and then all of the squash, big old leaves down on the ground, give the roots shade. So as Robin teaches regarding the unfolding and development of the three sisters, she believes the message they give is respect one another, support one another, bring your gift to the world, and receive the gifts of others, and there will be enough for all. All gifts are multiplied in relationship. The one who instructed Kimmerer in the ways of making a traditional black ash basket said, "You start by placing one strip of ash east to west, overlapped by the next strip running north to south. Where the two strips meet represents where we exist as people, trying to find balance among the four sacred directions. Everything in life is built upon that." Also, who knew that the free-range buffalo don't take more than half the available grasses? We can show respect to creation by only taking what we need, making sure to keep the cycle of giving and receiving going. In her Honorable Harvest chapter, Robin Wall Kimmerer gives her impression of these guidelines found all over Native cultures. Know the ways of the ones who take care of you so that you may take care of them. Introduce yourself. Be accountable as the one who comes asking for life. Ask permission before taking. Abide by the answer. Never take the first. Never take the last. Take only what you need. Take only that which is given. Never take more than half. Leave some for others. Harvest in a way that minimizes harm. Use it respectfully. Never waste what you've taken. Share. Give thanks for what you've been given. Give a gift in reciprocity for what you've taken. Sustain the ones who sustain you, and the earth will last forever. Professor Kimmerer believes the government that matters the most is the democracy of species, the laws of Mother Nature, who gives us these laws of the honorable harvest. Robin writes, "One of our responsibilities as human people is to find ways to enter into reciprocity with the more than human world. We can do it through gratitude, through ceremony, through land stewardship, science, art, and in everyday acts of practical reverence. You can give gifts of braided sweetgrass, reminding us of lovingly braiding Mother Earth's hair to symbolize kindness or gratitude. Kimmerer says she introduces herself to new trees, offering tobacco and asking if she might sit with the tree and get to know its forest for a while. The ones who came from the east since Columbus don't seem to do this. She writes, "The problem with these new people is that they don't have both feet on the shore. One is still in the boat. They don't seem to know whether they're staying or not. Mainstream Americans are an unfinished, rootless, homeless people who've not learned how to become indigenous to place, to receive from the earth instructions for becoming human." Anishinaabe teachings, which is the larger group that Potawatomi are part of, so the Anishinaabe teachings are that the East is the direction of knowledge, of new beginnings, which teaches to give daily gratitude as Mother Earth gives us her wisdom. Tobacco is associated with direction, this direction of the East, as our thoughts ascend like smoke to Creator. South is where birth and growth occur under the warm breezes. Cedar is put with this direction, offering purification and protection, showing that indigeneity means protecting life on earth. Next is the north, where sweetgrass instructs in compassion, kindness, and healing, even for people who've screwed up, which is all of us. Being indigenous means wanting to heal all of creation. A braid of sweetgrass protects a traveler, and a road smelling like sweetgrass leads us to a place of healing and forgiveness to all who need it. The West is represented by sage, which can cleanse from fear. So often there's light and darkness existing in our fears, and it's the creativity of light we need to deal in. Anishinaabe teachings are that we are to never damage creation and never interfere with the sacred purpose of another being. The Sound of Silver Bells chapter was the high point of the book for me. Kimmerer is deeply dismayed at Christians for attempting to erase the culture of her people. At one point, she takes a van load of Bible Belt pre-med college students camping to try to expand their very man-centered worldview into appropriate awe towards more of the 6 million species on the planet. The trip was not off to a good start, and the medical students just didn't seem to understand why they needed to be interested in nature. Kimmerer felt it crucial to impart knowledge of the high value of understanding the basics of how nature is taking care of itself and us by means of a vast interconnection. So by the end of the trip, as Robin had lost all hope that the students would tap into noticing the grandeur of nature, the light shone upon the flowers through the mist, and spontaneously the students began to reverently and beautifully sing, "Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound," as the petals fell about them and their harmonies swelled. The students got it, and she was humbled. As a follower of Jesus who often feels that Christians have just done too much harm to Native Americans for healing to occur between us, this chapter of Braiding Sweetgrass gave me hope that if more people could, perhaps by reading this book, learn to be humbly teachable, then all of us pitiful people could help in bringing restoration. In some native languages, plants are called the ones who take care of us. Oxytocin, the hormone that promotes mother-child bonding, is released in us when we dig our hands in the dirt. Professor Kimmerer writes, "My students are always different after root gathering. There's something tender in them and open, as if they're emerging from the embrace of arms they did not know were there." Kimmerer says the European traditions, ceremonies, and celebrations that have survived in America have to do with family and culture. We would do well to think together as communities about how to organically create ceremonies about species and seasons where the ceremony creates community. She also believes that science can be done humbly and with awe And this can be a deeply meaningful means of reciprocity with more than human world, hopefully halting the mass species extinction we're now in the middle of. Science done humbly and with awe is akin to what the traditional knowledge keepers were doing in native tribes. As people create a sense of being at home on the land again, the plants must return so we can be nurtured by them. We must name the evils of pollution and overconsumption that have overridden the land. R.J. Clifton says, suppression of our natural responses to disaster is part of the disease of our time. The refusal to acknowledge these responses causes a dangerous splitting. It divorces our mental calculations from our intuitive, emotional, and biological embeddedness in the matrix of life. That split allows us passively to acquiesce in the preparations for our own demise. Nevertheless, Kimmerer chooses joy over despair because that's what the earth gives her daily. Helping with nature restoration efforts gives a concrete antidote to despair also. The ecosystem is a community of sovereign beings who use their gifts for healing the land, guiding us. The land hasn't been broken, our relationship to it has. World renewal is our spiritual responsibility too. Reconnecting people with the landscape is medicine for the earth. The old traditional stories of native elders are important, but Kimmerer says our relatively new immigrant communities need to get to know the land and write our new stories about that. She writes, we might not have wings or leaves, but we humans do have words. Language is our gift and our responsibility. I've come to think of writing as an act of reciprocity with the living land. Our strange hunger for ease should not mean a death sentence for the rest of creation. Gratitude plants the seed for abundance. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to ravenous greed psychosis. A deep awareness of the gifts of the earth and of each other is medicine. As I prayerfully sat with this book, I really believed that nature is my teacher. As I visit with the trees in my yard day after day, introducing myself to each one, if I can muster the patience, it seems they're instructing me to have gratitude, which always transforms my day into one with more creative potential. As I write the St. Ogan Nature Center book I've been working on for several years now, I try to proceed in a reverent way. Braiding Sweetgrass encouraged me to slow down and trust that Creator will provide, so I don't need to hoard. Kimmerer's book has given me eyes to see how all the beings in nature are working off each other in concert. Reverence is the word I will use. Sacred respect for all that nature does and how to find my part in it and learn from it too. I cannot recommend this book highly enough to everybody wanting to understand indigenous ways of thinking more, and it is in audiobook format too. So, thank you.
All right, so we can open the floor for questions, comments, insights, whatever. One thing that I found that was interesting was when it said that in Potawatomi that Yahweh is like the to be verb. And that really struck me that when, Moses asked, oh, who do I tell you that I am? He said, I am, which is basically the to be verb. So it's like pretty much the same thing. So I thought that was really interesting.
I've heard a thing about, I can't remember who said it, or if anyone's ever heard this about Anishinaabe, but there's Hebrew words like ani. What's ani mean? Maku, Rebecca, Dave? Ani ledodi. I am my beloveds, and my beloved is my ani. Anishinaabe, like Nevi'im, prophets, like his father's people who are the prophets, Anishinaabe, because it sounds like you could say that in Hebrew or something, so I don't know, who knows, but Yeah, someone.
Ani, what you're trying to say is ani le do di vedo di li.
Ani.
I.
So I am
Talking
Ani.
about Hebrew, right? I am my beloved's and he is mine. Ani le do di vedo di li is I am my beloved's and he is mine in Hebrew. From Song of Songs. Is that what you're talking about?
She was
Yeah.
asking what ani means.
Yeah, just the Ani part. I think it's I am, right?
Ani is I.
I.
Yeah, there's not really an I am in Hebrew. They don't really have like that to be. It's really like I my beloveds. So it's hard to explain, but they don't really have that to be I am. So it's just I.
Yeah, yeah. Makes me wonder sometimes, but yeah. Yeah. I don't know if anyone, I think Kimberly and Ken said they had read the book, and yeah, I don't know if any questions or observations came to mind from anyone else.
Yeah, go ahead, Navarro.
Well, first of all, let me just say thank you very much for that wonderful presentation. It's very profound. And just a quick side note, Brian, when you played the flute, you were showing off. And I would like for you to keep showing off every week.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I'm actually wondering, why am I hearing this for the first time? I mean, am I speaking only for myself? Is there anyone else wondering why is this my first time hearing you play the flute? But anyway, so yes. So yes, that's so far that's my big mystery for 2023. All right. So what stood out to me is when you mentioned that in some native languages, plants, the name for plants are the ones that take care of us. So I thought that was really profound because it just made me contemplate over Creator, what he created. And I'm referring back to Genesis in the first chapter, where he said everything that he created was good. Everything was made good. So, and I'm not going into animism, where the belief that all living things have souls, but I'm definitely provoked to believe that everything has a purpose. Everything may not have a soul, but I believe that everything has a purpose. And I believe that when Creator created everything good, including the plants and the trees, it was for a good purpose. And where would our health be right now? Where would the world be right now? Just where would human beings be right now if there were no plants, no trees to take care of us?
Indeed. I'm trying to remember where I heard this about some guy took his machine home. It's something like a lie detector, but not a lie detector, maybe a EKG monitor. I can't remember what it was. But he just thought he wanted to take it home and put it on his plants, and just to see, how they liked, how the needle went up and down when they listened to music, or when this happened or that happened. And so it was kind of interesting. Things were going up and down, but he forgot to take the little pad things off of it when he went into the bathroom and was shaving, and he cut himself, and all of a sudden the plant, like, it jumped way up, like it was freaking out or whatever, like, oh no, you cut yourself. And he was just completely flummoxed by this. But going along with the idea of, there are these beings that take care of us, and it's been widely documented by scientists that the trees are, like communicating, like through their vast root system, so it seems like they're just, I don't know, seem to be aware of us being harmed and not wanting us to be harmed, in spite of what the Wizard of Oz trees act like.
No, for me, like when I think about that, it's really like just a whole difference in just your way of thinking. So like in the more kind of Eurocentric Western context, We think of, because basically from plants we get food and medicine. And so that's why in the native way, that's like, these are the things that take care of us because we need food and we need medicine to be well. But in the kind of Eurocentric context, we think of all that as a commodity, not as something that's taking care of us, but just as something that I'm going to possess and consume, and it's subservient to me. Like I have ownership over it. I can do with it whatever I want. Where when you think of it that these are the things that take care of us, it implies a whole different kind of relationship. And there's a reciprocity there that isn't present when you just look at it as a commodity. So I think it really gets down to the whole kind of worldview and cosmology between like indigenous thinking and Eurocentric thinking.
Maybe that's why Jesus liked to hang out in the Garden of Gethsemane. They were encouraging him. There's this one Messianic teacher, Dina Dye, out here in Rio Rancho, and she talks a lot about the symbolism in the Bible and the ancient Near East, symbols. And she says a lot of time when trees are talked about in the Bible, they're representing kings. So that's kind of interesting, these regal beings. I think of like Treebeard from Middle Earth, but looking out for us. Oh, here Dave said, should we read what Dave said there?
Sure.
Leah, I was really struck by your phrase, ravenous greed psychosis. That is so descriptive for what occurs in larger society. What did you say was the antidote for that? That was generosity, I believe. That was from the chapter about the Wendigo, this kind of abominable snowman figure in Anishinaabe stories. But yeah, he gets more powerful in the winter because, those are the lean times when we have less, so we're more tempted to be, greedy and ravenous, and he's coming after us that way, but also kind of, it seems like stirring us up to be that way too. So that was, yeah, but generosity is the antidote, she was saying, for that.
Yeah, it reminds me of-
Generosity or gratitude?
Oh, we can go back there. Generosity. Generosity and gratitude kind of fold into each other, I think. The ravenous greed.
Kind of glommed on that to something where it was that gratitude was the answer to something, and I'm like, oh, I love that.
Maybe one more. Go back one more. Maybe it's forward one more. No, I think it's forward the other way.
This way?
Yeah. But I would say gratitude. Maybe one more. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I would say, gratitude and generosity kind of both are, I don't know, Mobius strip almost. If I thinking of what I'm thankful for, yeah, that kind of just fuels me to want to give and realize, I'll get what I need when the time is right. So, yeah.
We're reading a book in women's club on Wednesday nights, and not this past week, but the previous week, the history was so shattering, just so huge, so shattering that it was hard to go on. But it's good to know. I think we need to know, but it's also shattering because we need to know, because that's what happened. And that's the nature that has existed, the dark nature of mankind. But this is equally shattering in the opposite direction. It's like, like with hope and with balance. And so we can have this as our next book, right?
It could be. I mean, yeah, this is like
the looking glass to the book we're reading.
What?
As the past, the opposite side, the positive, the light, or the dark that we're reading now.
Yeah. This could be. Yeah. I would not at all mind. It's one of those books you can read over and over, just kind of enter into this good kind of mindset.
And we can read it together.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, Casey Church is multiplying. You have a thumbs up, Diane? Oh, that you want to read Braiding Sweetgrass. That could be. That could be.
I would definitely make sure to make it to every single one if we could read Braiding Sweetgrass.
All right. Yeah, that would be that would be edifying. What? It's a sign. It's a sign. All right. Very good. Yeah. I think it would help us
I just
recover.
wanted to say a little something. If no one else has their hand raised, I don't want to jump in front of anybody. Just a few thoughts. The part that really stood out to me was when you were talking about how everything is a gift. And I'm just really struck by the generosity of God, that our Creator is so generous in so many ways. And even his generosity is expressed through nature. Are you guys able to hear me okay? Yeah, okay. All right, just want to make sure. I thought maybe you were straining to hear Brian, so I was like wanting to make sure. So, but yeah, just that was really struck by just how generous the Creator is in all of his ways and through nature. And it's interesting because that is kind of one of the themes of this Hebraic month that we're in, the month of Tevet, which I won't go into all that, but little things like that catch my attention, the connections that are made, kind of like God, revealing more of his nature, revealing that, in the different the way things connect like that. And it seems like so often you guys end up talking about things that do relate to the Hebraic months, even though you don't even know it. But that just kind of shows that the Spirit, that we're all walking in step with the Spirit, and the Spirit reveals those things, even if you don't know, like you don't know that that's one of the themes of this month, but the Spirit reveals that to you and you end up talking about that anyway. So it's kind of neat how all those things are connected and how the Spirit confirms that. And by the way, I hope I wasn't too confusing about being too technical about the Hebrew, about the word ani. You could think of ani as I am. I guess just technically they don't have that infinitive form of I am, you are, that kind of thing. So it's I am, I, yeah. So anyway, that's all I wanted to share. Thanks. Oh, by the way, Brian, your flute playing was amazing, and it was just so soothing. And it really gave me like so much peace, It just really blessed me so much. So yes, please do play that again. You have a gift.
Per what you just said, Jamie, did you have a tie to the Parsha? A tie from today's speaking to the Parsha?
You mean like the weekly Torah portion?
Yeah, it sounds like you're saying where we are now is in link with the Parsha. I'd like to hear that.
Well, not the Parashah, just the month, the Hebrew month. There's always themes with the Hebrew month, and so like one of the things for this month is that every Hebrew month has a Hebrew letter that is related to the month. So this month the letter it's the letter Ayin, which is supposed to be Hebrew letters. They're not only a letter, but they have a numerical value. And they have they're a pictograph, which means they have an image that means something. So the image is supposed to be like an eye. So that's kind of the theme about your spiritual vision, which relates to the good eye, which in Hebrew times related to generosity. If you had a good eye, you were generous. If you had the evil eye, you were stingy or greedy. So the theme is kind of like, be generous, because like God is generous towards us. So yeah, that's how I didn't plan on going into all that, but you asked. So
no,
yeah,
thank you. No, I like that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Leah, I was kind of excited when you brought up Three Sisters, but also at the same time, the Three Sisters do the exact same thing. The corn itself needs nitrogen to help itself grow, so that's where it gets it from the beans and the legumes and everything. Be able to get the legumes transfer its nitrogen into the corn. So each plant is also being generous with each other too, to allow us to grow and to grow within ourselves. As natives, we never be able to plant for the family. We grow abundantly so that we can be able to help those that are in need, help the elders that can't grow themselves. And we're not even also thinking about the humans. We're thinking about the animals for later in the winter time. Like when we dry out the corn, sometimes we set some aside for the sheep to be able to eat during the winter. So it's very interesting how we have to be also not generous with each other as humans, but we have to be generous with everyone else. And also it helps us understand why we're being generous with our plants too.
Am I on?
Yeah.
Okay, so that reminds me of the three sisters working together, reminds me of the body of Christ, how we've got our different gifts and where some are lacking, you know, others are strong, and we end up, you know, encouraging others, you know, and getting encouragement in a similar way. I like that. The reciprocity, always just, you know, giving and trusting we'll get what we need. All right. Any more questions? Oh, the gal over there was Heavenly Scott was talking about how she really liked the chapter about rescuing the salamanders and the one about the little old neighbor lady named Witch Hazel, and they helped her with the Christmas decorations. That was a great chapter. Those were, yeah. I mean, every chapter is just so full of richness. So, yeah, I think we voted for our next Women's Circle book. Ha ha, we beat Eugene. We have a bunch of Mark Charles books back there, by the way, if you need your next book. But anyway, okay, well,
There's no more questions or comments. We can move on to you guys giving us our closing song.
All right, yeah, and we've had a request to incorporate some more flute into it.
somebody.
And really, I think I've played flute before. I just have never played flute with Leah playing weird ambient guitar. So I think what you guys are going to do is Leah's guitar finesse. But in any case, I think I'll do a little flute thing. We'll kind of start it kind of mellow to kind of allow us to kind of sit with these thoughts that we have right now, and then I'll get it a little bit more active, and then we'll kind of move into the Gunnar Ronquist song. That's what we'll try to do. So you can do your finessing.
Awesome work, Grovers. Um,
Man, this is
good job, Leah, for entering for yes. Never mind. Um, for reminding us of the importance of giving, the importance of why we need to share, why we are not just important, more than more important than one another. Thank you all for being here, and hope you guys make it to one of the events that we have talked about. So let me give you a quick small blessing. Heavenly Father, Creator, the one who makes us and set us free, thank you for allowing us to understand that we are human and we're not perfect. That we always have some type of sin that we need to turn away from you and turn towards you and run towards you and understand we need to run away from any hatred, greed, anything that is driving us away from you. Allow us to be one step closer to you. Allow us to be able to feel you, help it kindle our fire, kindle our light so that we can brighten and have someone throughout this week to see and feel the heat of you. Be able to enlighten and be able to be awakened. I know there's a lot of souls out there that are still in a slump from this era of COVID. Let's remind them that we are alive, and being alive is the greatest gift from you. So let us bless one another. Let us be able to love one another and be able to hear everyone's stories. In good name we pray. Amen. Thank you, guys.
Hey, guess
Love
who's
you.
next week? Guess who's next week? Randy Woodley is going to be here talking about y'all's men's club book. In 1 week. Yeah, he's going to be, I mean, virtual. He'll be here virtually.
Okay.
You can hold your books up and he'll virtually autograph it. I don't know. See you, mom and dad, tomorrow.
I was like, he'll do it. He'll do it Disney style, Disney Channel style.
Right.
Hey, guys, I wanted to show you this is what braided sweetgrass looks like.
Yeah, good. Smells like snickerdoodles when you burn it. Mm. It
See how
does.
long that is?
That's awesome. It is very nice. Very nice.
Laura said, bring it home.
Laura says,
Enough for many blessings.
Yeah, we in most of our